Course 2, Study Guide number 8. Number 1, simplify -8 plus -3 plus -6. When you add integers that have different signs, ignore the signs, take the difference of the two numbers, which in this case would be 5, and then look at just the numbers, not the signs, and just the numbers, and see which one would be bigger, which would be the 8. Whatever the sign of that number is will be the sign of that result. Now when I add a -5 and -6, when the signs are the same, the rule is just add. So -5 plus -6 is -11. Number 2, find the area and perimeter of the given parallelogram. The area of a parallelogram is its base times its height. Well, in this case, if you look at the sides, the way it's sitting here, and the way I'm given a height, which is my perpendicular distance between the bases, then this is considered my base, and then how tall it is, and we always measure height perpendicular, and this would be my height. So I've got 8 centimeters times 4 centimeters, which will be 32 square centimeters. The perimeter of anything is, you add up all the sides. Well, notice we have a base of 8 centimeters. And I think I'm going to go this way, so then I'll have a side of 7 centimeters. And then in a parallelogram, the opposite side is the same, so this one is 8 centimeters. And then when you come down this side, this one is also 7 centimeters. You can add these several different ways. You can add them 15 plus 15, you can add across, and either way you go about it, you should have 30 centimeters. Number 3, simplify this order of operation. Well, we remember that we've got order of operation, but please excuse my dear multiplication division left to right, Aunt Sally adding subtracting from left to right. So the first thing I'm going to do is do my grouping symbols, which in this case here is got 18 minus 2 times 5 in it. So the 2 times 5 is my multiplication, which has to be done first in the parentheses. So I've got 3 plus 4, put my braces, and I've got 18 minus 2 times 5, which is 10. So now I've still got a grouping symbol, so I've got 3 plus 4, and then I can do that work, which is 8. And then order of operation still says we still have to do the multiplication before we can do the addition. So I have 3 plus 32, which is, now we can do the addition, 35. Number 4, let's do this order of operation. We've got parentheses with exponents in them. So we'll take care of our exponents. So I've got 4 squared, which is 4 times 4, which is 16, divided by 2, minus 3, and then times. And I'm going to go ahead and do this exponent 2, even though I have to do the grouping symbol first. This one's not going to be affected by that 3 squared, 3 times 3. Now let's go inside and do our division first. So we have 8 minus 3. Close our parentheses, times our 9, which was our 3 squared. We still do our grouping symbol, which is 5 times our 9, which is 45. Let's let that over there for you. 5 times our 9, which is 45. Number 5, multiply using canceling. Now, you may not cancel the same way I do, but I'm going to go with just the way I see it. I think that's the easiest. You just have to make sure it's a numerator and a denominator. Now, I'm going to try to take it as far down as I can. The further I take it, the easier it is to finish it. So I think I'm going to start with this 18 and this 27, because 9 will go into 18 2 times, and 9 will go into 27 3 times. That didn't have to be where you start, but that's just where I chose. I can do the 25 and the 45, or the 25 and the 20, but I think I'm going to do these two. 5 will go into 25 5 times, and 5 will go into 45 9 times. Now let's see what I have left. 5, 9, 3, 2. The 16 and the 20, I can do 4 into both of those. And at this point, it looks like I can do the 5 and the 5. If you want to take it all the way down, and in this case, I've got 2 times 4 times 1 on top, which is 8, and 1 times 9 times 3 is 27. Now, you may not have taken it that far down, multiply and still reduce, but if you'll reduce as far as you can, you should be able to finish it in one step. divide using canceling. Well, we can't cancel until we make it multiplication, and we can't do multiplication till we make them fractions. So I've got 1 1/8, which is 9/8, and I'm going to still leave it divided by the 9/16. Now, KFC. From division to multiplication, keep the first one, flip the second one, and change it to multiplication. My 9's will cancel, and my 8 and my 16 will cancel, which makes it really nice. 2 over 1, which is 2. The ratio of teachers to students is 3 to 7. If there is a total of 80 people, how many are students? Well, that involves a 3-row box, because you've got your teachers, you've got your students, and you've got your total. So I'm going to put T for teachers and S for students, and I guess I'll just write the word total since we've got 2 T's in that. And I've got my ratio column, and I've got my actual column. The ratio of teachers to students is 3 to 7, which would make a reduced lowest ratio of 10 total. If there's a total of 80 people, I want to know how many are students, which is this one right here. So I'm going to put my X right there. Now we can come over here and say 7 over 10 equals X over 80. Now 2 ways you can do that. You can cross multiply and solve for X, or you can come to the left and use that identity property of multiplication, which in this case is pretty easy, because to get from 10 to 80 you'd multiply by 8, and you'd have to do that on the top and bottom, which would give you 56 for X. So X is 56 students. And you kind of see that because 10 times 8 would be 80, 7 times 8 would be 56, and as they'd asked us the number of teachers, the 3 times 8 would have been 24, and then those numbers again will add to the 80. We've got some simplifying with integers, but notice we have some subtracting, and I don't have a highlighter handy, so I'm just going to circle what I have to change. You never change addition, but you always change subtraction. The next one's going to have both in it. So we keep the first one, we change to addition, and we take the opposite of the second one. We again have subtracting, so we're going to change to addition and take the opposite of this one. So now let's use the rule we used at the top. -3 plus -7, try that again. -3 plus -4 is -7, because you're just adding those two numbers. And -7 plus +6, and when the signs are different, you subtract them, which is a 1, and then look at the numbers without the signs, and notice the 7 has the negative. Now this one has adding and subtracting, so I'm going to change this one and this one, not the addition. So I'm going to make everything addition. So I've got +2 plus -7, change to adding the opposite, adding the opposite. Now let's work our way across. -2 plus -7 is -5. Subtract them, sign goes with the 7, -5. -5 plus -3, signs are the same, -8. -8 plus 4, signs are different, that's a +4. Yes, plus +4. Signs are different, let's subtract them without the signs. The 8 is the biggest, and it has a negative sign. Number 10, 3/7 of the cars in the parking lot are white. If there are 24 white cars, how many cars are there in all? Well, let's set up a table. And we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sections. And 3 of those, the 3/7 of the 7, represent the 24 white cars. So if 3 sections are 24, then each one of them has to be 8, because 24 divided by 3 is 8. Well, then we know the rest of the sections, and at this point we can find out how many cars were not white, the 4 7s that are left over, 32. They ask us that, but it asks us how many cars are there in all. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've got 7 times 8, which is 56 total cars. Slide that over for you. Okay, number 11. If 4 books sell for $75, how much would 6 books cost? Okay, let's set that one up right down here. And I'm going to set it up as books over cost. So I'm going to set 2 fractions, set it up as a proportion. I've got 4 to 75, that's my books to cost, and then 6 to cost. Now, because I can't get from 4 to 6 by multiplying by 1 or 2, I'm going to go ahead and do this one by cross multiplying. So I have 4 times x equals 75 times 6. Okay, and I'm going to have to go over here. I've run out of room. So I have 4x equals, and let's go do 75 times 6. It's 30. 7 times 6 is 42. Plus 3 is 45. Excuse me. And we need to get x by itself, so let's divide by 4. And we'll scoot over here and do 4 into 450. Okay, it goes 1 time. And we subtract and get 0, bring down our 5. It goes 1 time. I'm going to run out of room for sure. 4 goes into 10 2 times, which is 8. Got my 10 minus 8. It's 2. Now, because I'm doing money, I'm going to go ahead and add my decimal and 2 decimal places because we don't usually do fractions and we don't usually do 1 decimal place. So when I bring this 0 down here, I get 4 into 20 goes 5 times. And then it comes out even 20, so 4 goes into this 0 0 times. So we'll come back up in here and put that our x, which is what we were solving for, is $112.50. Number 12, let's put these in scientific notation. Well, you may want to put you a blank and an x for multiplication and a 10 and a blank for your exponent. This is this number written with a decimal point so that the number is between 1 and 10. And it will always be, your first number will be in front of the decimal. So we're going to start here and we're going to move it all the way and write our digits, which is 2.8. Now this number is, how many places did we move it? We went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 and 8/10 times 10 to the 5th. Now let's do the same thing with this one. Now this one's got several digits. I'm going to write it right up above it. So I've got my number times 10 to a power. So when I bring that decimal all the way over here, it's going to be 1.345. We don't want to round that off, not now. Sometimes you do that in science, but not in math class. And then let's count how many places we moved it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 1.45 times 10 to the 7th.